Hello, everyone. Justine D'Andrea here with Bible Journaling Ministries creative team. And today we're using the printables from First Chronicles 16:34. So for today, we are using minimal supplies. You'll just need some colored pencils to color your printables and some ink pads. I'm using distressed ink and a couple other ink pads, whatever you have around. I'm using some blues, couple different blues, orange, yellow, greens, a couple different greens. Of course, your daubers and then your makeup sponge. Okay, so if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. So the focus for us today is doing using our distressed inks and our ink pads, but I wanted to show you just run through quickly of the way that I am coloring my printables. I'm not um a professional color penciler. I don't know what to say. I just kind of go with how I look, kind of basically look at a picture and I kind of just color it and I just let the pencil do its own blending. Um, so if that makes sense to you, that's just kind of how I do it. I mean, I'm not, put it this way, I'm not educated in shading, but um, I just do my best. And that's what you should do. Just do your best. And of course, the key is just to be in the Word. And as I'm coloring, of course, thinking of the scripture and talking with God and just praying. Um, and that's what I encourage you to do. So basically, just using different shades of browns and grays. And um, I think I'm even using a little bit of gold in here. But I'm not going to talk this whole time through. I am actually going to actually maybe I usually put music on for you guys, but I think today because I've sped it up so much, I will talk a little bit more. So I did some red and orange on his, what is that? Giblet? Is that a giblet? I can't remember what that's called. Then I'm using a white a white gel pen just to do some highlights all around. And again, this was just from following a picture that I found on Pinterest. I kind of just did my own thing. When we're doing art, remember that this is not supposed to be somebody else's piece of art. This is your piece of art. So you're just going to go ahead and do what feels right to you. And that's okay because art is an expression of our inward or inner part of our, I think, our inner self, maybe. I don't know if that makes sense. So I'm using different shades of orange. I usually like to start with a lighter shade and then just go around and do some highlighting. And again, just following a picture. And I'm definitely using my blending pencil. I love the blending pencil. It just kind of makes everything look nice when you're done outlining the edges in a darker orange. This was fun. I've never really actually, I have to be honest, this is the first time really coloring with pencil like this. I usually don't do so much shading and detailing, but it was a lot of fun. And then again, the acorns here, I'm doing in a darker and a lighter brown, and then like more a really dark color for the tops, or even like a black for the top of the acorn. And this is how we learn. We learn by looking, we learn by just kind of copying. And the more we do it, the better we get at it. So I'm doing the turkey, the pumpkin, and the corn. The corn is, pretty simple, just a couple colors. I think I do a light and a dark yellow, and then a little green. on the edges. So that's basically what I'm going to be using on my page. And now for the fun part of um, cutting out and then using our distress inks to make our page. So we're going to switch over. I'm using the Interleave Bible, one of my favorites to use. I like to paint in it full pages, and in this case, I'm using the bigger printables from the Momentum kit that I am going to just use a few of them. So I start by protecting my other pages because I'm a messy crafter and you just never know what's going to get on my other pages. And then I'm trying to decide whether I need something under my page because sometimes that helps when you lift up so um it's not so awkward, but I think I'll be okay with this. I just have to try to remember to get close into that seam as possible. So our focus is inks, and you can use any type of inks that you want. My focus was to use kind of do like a fall background. So I'm using a couple different color blues, some orange, some yellow, greens. Those are what I'm focusing on. And I'm going to start with a lighter color. Oh, this is a good tip if you want to if you have several different colors, just to um, put them blot them on a piece of paper so you can just see the different values of the ink pads. So I'm using my lightest one and I am mixing inks. These here are distressed inks and then later I'm going to switch to some other stamp pads that I have, but um, I'm going to go ahead and for this project, I'm going to use just the makeup sponges, I think. Actually, I think I might use the daubers too, but I am not convinced of what I like to use the best. Honestly, I don't know if I do enough inking to really worry about it. I think my love is really painting. I think that's where I have most of my interest in, but um, I'm just going to go and if you are a beginner to inking, you'll notice that when you use the different sponges or the different applicators, they all go on a little differently. So when you see here that the sponge, it's going to make a little bit of texture. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. Um, it's going to make a little texture, and I'm okay with that. But for some parts of this, I do want it to be smoother. So I think the dauber or the applicator on that part would be better. So you can rub, you can pat, you can do circular motions. Um, this is kind of like just a freestyle type of background that we're using for inks. But I was thinking that I wanted to use like fall colors. So you can put several different colors of the yellow, or you can just put one color of yellow if that's all you have. And then the next I'm going to do is grab maybe 2 or 3 different greens, and I'm going to start with a lighter green. So starting with the lighter greens, and then actually I think I started with a dark green here, and then I realized I want a lighter. And you know what? That's okay. The whole thing is I'm just trying to blend everything together. I just kind of want it to be kind of like an ombre with different colors though. So I'm switching over to a lighter color, and if you see that the sponge has like texture to it. It's not an even on. I don't know what it's not an even blend. And I'm okay with that, but it's not filling in the spaces enough for me. So I'm switching over to the dauber, and you can see here that it fills in more. And like I said, I want different shades, so it's okay. So you can either experiment while you're doing your your art, or you can experiment on a separate piece of paper so that you're not so uncomfortable doing it in your Bible. So I'm doing 3 different color greens in here. I'm doing a lighter green, on a medium green, and then a darker green. And then actually, um, let's see, I have the 3 greens. I can't remember. Excuse me. Yeah, this one's gonna go around the edge. Actually, I have the 3 greens, the lighter green, the the medium green, and then the dark green I'm putting around the edge. Um, and then just blending them all together. It's okay to touch every, kind of adding like maybe a touch of green, the darker green in another area of the lighter green, if that makes sense. Because in nature, we have all different shades and colors. So, um, it's okay. So this is all about blending this page. This page is just blending different colors and letting the yellow go into the green and the green go into the yellow. And then maybe even going over it once again, just lightly. Okay, I'm going to start with my orange. And you can even do a little red in there if you wanted to. So I'm blending my yellow with my orange. This is a fun time just to really not care. Really just focus again, like I said, just kind of like talk to God, because it's amazing what God does through your art. And then when you step back and realize, wow, you know, that was a time of me talking with God, and this is what He did, you know, if that makes sense to you. So we're going to go with orange, and you can do again circular motions, you can do up and down, you can do side to side, you can even pounce on it if you wanted to. Then I'm going to finish it off with a couple different blues. I'm going to do a lighter blue, and then a little bit of a darker blue. So light blue, medium blue again, and then a darker blue on the edges. So the edges, I'm just trying to keep it them dark to kind of like outline the page. And notice I didn't put a whole bunch of it. I just put a little bit. And then it's okay to let white spaces show through also. Um, that's not going to hurt. And these printables that I'm using are bigger, so they're going to cover a lot of the background anyway. But I saw this, I'm pretty sure somewhere, probably on Pinterest, and I just thought it was a cool blending. And of course, you can do this with watercolor or acrylic paint. Oh, the sapphire is really nice. But today we're using inks. It's an ink day. Going around the edges, being careful not to get my page, but I do get the other page a little bit. You can protect your other page if you want. And I'm going to go ahead and while I'm doing this, read the scripture, First Chronicle 24. I'm sorry, 34. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for He is good, for His steadfast love endures forever. I think that's one of my favorite ones. I love that. I think there isn't there a song in it. And you could probably, I didn't do it here, but you could probably use a baby wipe if you kind of wanted to blend it a little bit more. There is some seepage, which is fine with me. Um, it's just the inks that I used. And then I'm going to add a little bit. It's so funny because it looks so different in person than it does on the camera to me. But I'm going to add some splatter. So you can do black splatter or you can do white paint, acrylic paint splatter. And today I'm using a toothbrush. I'm adding a little bit of water to it, and I'm just going to do a splatter. But just be careful if you have stuff around that you don't want to get splatter on, because that can happen. Mm. I'm happy with this blending. Like I said, you can make it a little bit proportioned, a little different if you want it. But I'm very happy with this blend. Just drying up some of my a little bit of that splatter so I can go ahead and glue in my turkey and my pumpkin. And I'm using, oh, I was gonna say you can use spray, just but they never work for me. I don't know why, but I don't have good luck with spray inks, so I do the acrylic splatter effect. So, all right. So I have my pumpkin and my turkey, and I'm gonna use the corn. I decided not to use the cornucopia, so that's gonna go out. I am going to put my verse. You guys know I love to put my verse in there. And I am going to ink the edges so that it doesn't stay, just pop out like completely awkward. You can also handwrite your the verse if you wanted to add an extra level of of remembering the verse. The more we say the verses, the more we meditate on them, the more they stick in our minds and in our hearts. So just a quick inking with distressed ink. Just inking up excuse me, the edges. I'm using some wet glue, putting my pumpkin on, and then my turkey. If you notice, when I cut out my printables, I didn't leave that little weight edging. I purposely did that because I didn't really want it. There is a little bit there you can see, but and then kind of proportion that out. It's so much fun when we go back and we look at what we've done and how far we've come from when we first started Bible journaling until a few years later, and all the fun things you get to do with it. So I'm clustering my acorns here. I think I'm like thinking to myself, it's awkward because there's four. Normally, I would do an odd number because it's makes more sense, but I was like, something's not right. And I eventually find um, my fifth corn. I'm going to go ahead and use my stabata. This is I want to say it's probably a charcoal pencil. I really need to look it up because I always say that to you guys. But I'm going around it. I got this on Amazon and I'm just highlighting all the outlines. And I'm rubbing with my finger just to kind of, so it looks more blended. It's all about, I guess, blending for me today. So just blending it all in. I just like the way it looks. It just kind of looks like it all fits together. And going around every little piece that I've added, thin lines, thick lines. I'm going to go over the turkey. So I just want to say thank you for hanging out with me. And if you're not a member of Momentum and you'd like to learn more and to find out how to get these printables, go over to BibleJournalingMinistries.com. We would love for you to come over and hang out with us and do some creating. Also, if you sign up for the newsletter once a month, you get the free printable that gives you a taste of everything that's in Momentum. It's like our sample page that Tracy gives you that it's, you can go ahead and journal with that if you'd like, and, it doesn't cost you anything. And she only sends it out once a month, so you're not bombarded with emails from her. So, doing a little bit of shading, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. This was a fun page. It's simple, it's not intimidating. You can do it fairly quickly, and you can show everyone your beautiful artwork and get them interested in Bible journaling also, and maybe do it together. Okay, my friends, thank you again for hanging out with me. May God be with you and be blessed. So I see you next time. Take care, everyone.